Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, everybody. Sorry, I'm a little bit late here. Oh, that's way too loud. I'm a little bit late here because watching a child here for a second. Looks like they didn't like the GDP, huh? Let's see here. Let's come in and look at what the numbers were. First of all, initial jobless claims, 218 versus 223, so slightly better than expected. And US GDP quarter over quarter final, slightly better than expected at 3% versus 2.9%. I'm going to bet you that this is another one of those numbers where we go and reread the zero hedge story and they're going to explain to us why those numbers aren't nearly as good as they appear. But 3% GDP is pretty good, and yeah, the treasury market, at least, is selling off pretty hard because of that. Kind of hinting that they will not be able to bring down interest rates nearly as much as perhaps the market wants. So, and it doesn't look like they've quite found a floor yet either. It's definitely slowed down once they got past like 17. But they're still burning through liquidity there, man. Good grief. Okay, well, it sounds like Mom's back. Hold on a second. By the way, good morning, Yamrus, A, Paul, Uzi. Let's come to the charts. Okay, so for the treasuries, getting smacked down here, but, you know, they kind of got smacked down a little bit yesterday. Granted, we're still just retracing from, what was it, Tuesday? Is that Tuesday? Today's the 26th, Wednesday, Tuesday. Yes, this is Monday. So we got a ways to go before we're like at weekly lows. 09.5. Okay. S&P 500. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold up. S&P 500 took off last night. Holy cow. That is insane. Okay. Oil. Ooh, oil getting hammered. Go back and do some reading here. I think I missed some stuff overnight. Gold and silver going crazy. Copper looking good. Japanese yen kind of a little weak. At the dollar above a 100 though. And Bitcoin, you know, having a little bit of a pullback here, and then overnight coming right back up there. Okay. This is all very, very interesting. So hold on. Let's do some reading. Did I miss something? Read it on my phone. For some reason, it doesn't work on desktop. Senior U.S. officials have said that they expect a ceasefire deal to be implemented in the coming hours along the Israel-Lebanon border. Okay. So that's probably why oil is down. Further impetus was driven by reports around France's fiscal situation, which contributed to the bid in buns. Chinese stimulus bazooka, but I don't see anything about that, so hold on. China's Politburo held a meeting on September 26th and said they will lower the reserve requirement ratio and implement forceful interest rate cuts. So, yeah, that's what I thought. It's just the same as before, but for some reason, the market has really responded to it in a way that they didn't the day before. Like seeing GDP strong and get some heavy stimulus coming out of China, I am concerned that hampers yields, or which is to say, the Federal Reserve wants to bring yields back down, and because of Chinese stimulus and things like that, they can't, and then that continues to harm the labor market because the labor market is still really tight. I actually, you know what though? I think the difference might just be the next cut is 25 basis points instead of 50 or something like that, But this thing has really run. It is still has not stopped. There has still not been a major pullback, and we're almost 10 minutes after the news. So that's a pretty strong, persistent flow. When you get flows like that, geez, this is tough because this is the one where you want to take the hero trade over and over again, and you just get screwed over. Eventually, it's probably going to do this. Right? That's what it tends to do in this situation. But the question is, how far down are they going to go before they get there? Okay, so there's a black cell right there. That might be enough. Let's see. Let's come and look at that here real quick. Well, you can't see it. I'll come over here. No cam. Minimize that. Move that out of the way so you can see. Okay, so we've got... Wow. Okay. At 12 half, they sold 1389. 12, they sold 1582, and then they added more and they sold 3374 at 12. You know what? I should probably change this so that you get let's see here, display time. Oops. Price, volume, time. There we go. Oops, did I not get that in the right order? That one must have came through while I was still changing it. Wow, strategy question, what's the best Sharpe ratio that you've developed? I don't know if that, I think that I have to ask a question that's a little bit more nuanced than that to give you useful information, because I think that I have developed some strategies with Sharpe ratios over 1, but they had other issues. And another problem is that, like when I switched machines, there were some back tests that were kind of only saved in this thing down in here that are like gone now. What was I doing here with this degenerate gambler strategy? It did not work very well, did it? It did not work very well at all. Oh, but some of these, it seems like I have way more that should be taken off that aren't pinned. Well, anyways, like if I just sort this by Sharpe ratio, right? So see, for instance, here's one where it says the Sharpe ratio is 10, but it's only like 2 trades. Okay. Here's one that is time, stop, and reverse. So this is the one that cheated, I think. Yes, this is the one that was a cheater. Okay. Now this one. Okay, so this one has a Sharpe ratio of 0.91. But it is a daily strategy. You can see there with those settings, it's only taken 20 trades over the time. So that one's probably curve fitted, right? Here's one. Now time stop and reverse is a cheater. I don't want that one. But once I start to get into the 0.5, then I start to get into the legitimate ones, right? Like this, for instance, is a strategy that is, I'm using the Fourier analysis indicator by Euler's, and I have it set up to test whether you take it during news or don't news, and it can get out of the news. This was like my test case for that, right? And with that one, I'm able to get a Sharpe ratio of 0.5, right? So most of the time, I find that if I get a strategy that looks okay, that the results of it come out to about 0.5. So this is one, it's back tested over 5 years, Sharpe ratio of 0.5, and total net profit of 193,000, tested on S&P 500, for instance, right? And a lot of them come to that. Now, I have a lot of other ones that I had tested way back on the old machine that other ones that are kind of in this one range, but like a lot of the order flow ones that I developed, I was able to get Sharpe ratios up into 1, but there's kind of some question about how legitimate those results are, because there's enough difference between the live and the sim that the live results, I'm not going to say that like, the live results were terrible. It was just they were different from the back tests, and so I don't know what the real performance of them is. And I mean, I have those still somewhere, but I'd have to go and test them again and everything. So yeah. Okay, so your gold strategy is at 0.75. That's not bad, right? So there's a couple of questions, right? The first big question, I think, is what is the time frame that it trades, right? Because the higher of a time frame that it is, the higher I think that your Sharpe ratio typically should be, right? Like, if it's an intraday strategy, it's going to be really, really hard to get a Sharpe ratio of 1. Simply because you aren't in the market most of the time. So in an intraday trading strategy, I think you kind of have to assume that it's going to have a Sharpe ratio less than 1. And other things like your maximum drawdown and, like just looking at the equity curve and things like that maybe matter more to me. Versus if it's a swing strategy, if I'm doing it off of daily bars, for instance, I want that Sharpe ratio to be over 1. Because in that sort of a strategy, like I'm looking to turn it into a fund. So if I'm going to turn it into a fund, I probably want a Sharpe ratio over 1. A lot of really good, the funds that get the money have Sharpe ratios up into the 2 range. And there are some quant people that, you know, are doing some maybe crazy ill-advised things that can get like crazy Sharpe ratios like 3 to 5. But anyways, so that's kind of the... Okay, so if you're using a 300 tick chart, I would be suspicious. So 0.75 is not bad, but tick charts have problems. The problem with the tick chart is that the tick chart will optimize itself towards taking trades in heavy, fast action where you're not very likely to get the fills that the simulator says. I need to get it to stop trading as much, yeah. Because basically what happens is, okay, every time that there's a new bar, there's a possibility of there being another trade. So if you're doing it once a minute, right, then that's the frequency is every minute. Then, you know, you take the total time of the full backtest over the 5 years and you divide it into 1 minute increments, and that's the number of opportunities to enter into a trade that you get, right? Well, if you're using tick charts, there's going to be more than that because there's going to be some minutes that are split up, right? So it's going to take more trades. But then the thing is where are those places where there's going to be more bars? It's going to be in places where there's more heavy trading activity, right? And so just by the nature of the data series that you're using underneath, you are creating an algorithm that's more likely to take trades when the market is being really fast, right? And the problem with that is if the market's going really fast, what are the chances that it's actually going to get the price that it thinks it's getting, right? And then you get into all these things where, like, if you use a limit order and it misses the limit order, then it doesn't get into the trade. And then maybe because it doesn't get into the trade, it ends up getting into another trade that's the other way. And that turns a winner into a loser, for instance. So, like, those are the sorts of weird things that happen with your algorithms where when they don't perform the same live as they do in the backtest, right? And so I've found that almost always, if I use something like a range bars or tick bars or volume bars, that I can get better results, and they don't carry over. I've never been able to get one of those to carry over to live. There's something about time that is just more perfectly random. You know what I think would be interesting is a bar type. Oh, maybe we should do this. A bar type that is random, like which is to say that, like, the amount of time in the bar, like when does the next bar start, is random. Like, we could say it can be anywhere between 1 and 30 minutes or something like that. And so sometimes it'll be a 1 minute bar, and sometimes it'll be a 30-minute bar, and then run a back test on that and see what that does. That would be kind of weird and interesting. Well, anyways, there was another thing that I was going to say, though, because I don't know if you sent that one to me, but a lot of you guys lately have been sending me trading results, and the results that you're giving me only go one direction. So it's like it only buys, for instance. So I saw one where, they're buying at certain times of the day, and you just always buy at that time and get out at another time. But they only buy, and that's over the last 5 to 10 years or something like that. And it's like, well, it's totally possible to have an asset that over the last 5 years has pretty much been nothing but up, right? And So that kind of like strategy like appears to work. But like if the market shifts, you know, like as an example, you're doing the Japanese yen, for instance. Yeah. So like you do the Japanese yen, you sell at a certain time of day, you buy it back at the certain time of day. That probably like almost always works up until like the last month, right? Because now all of a sudden the entire financial system is maybe shifted, and maybe that strategy doesn't work anymore, right? So when you have a strategy that only signals long or short, what you're likely to do there is you're likely to be overfitting to that instrument itself. And so when the macroeconomic picture changes, that strategy is just going to faceplant, right? So it's a lot better if you have a strategy that it takes both longs and shorts, and it is reasonably profitable on both its long and shorts. Like if I'm doing a strategy and it trades the S&P 500, I would, you know, if I can get both my longs and my shorts to be winning and to have a Sharpe ratio over 0.5, that would be amazing. And that would be a strategy that I would have a lot more confidence in, that rather than one that only goes long. That's kind of like, well, it's probably just taking advantage of the fact that stocks tend to always go up. And so probably a better strategy would be to just buy and hold. And buy and hold would probably perform better, right? So why bother day trading? Well, you bother day trading because you can get a more consistent profit. In order to be able to get that more consistent profit, you're going to have to take longs and you're going to have to take shorts. Otherwise, whenever there's a bear market, you're screwed and you're just underperforming everything. You're not getting the advantage of like the day trading, right? Because the advantage of the day trading is, generally speaking, you don't make as much as if you buy and hold, but you can make a more consistent profit. You can still make money when the S&P 500 is going down, whereas with buy and hold, that's when you lose money. That's when you'll have a drawdown of 20 to 50%. So there's kind of those things. Like I think one would be when there's more activity. Another one would be when an instrument has a tendency to always go up or always go down. And what would be another one? Well, and then anything that has to do with a fat tail. Like those are three things that like I think that your algorithm kind of has to contend with. And, you know, because those are like the three easiest ways to get a profitable backtest. And there's real pitfalls with each of those, right? So 300 tick chart, a little suspect. Yes, Powell speaks at 2 today. A little behind here because, you know, we had this whole thing. Looks like a bunch of people are speaking today. What is the conference that we've got today? The Federal Reserve Bank of Boston's doing a conference, I guess. Is that what it is? Are they all doing that? Yeah. Chairman Powell. Oh, due to deliver pre-recorded opening remarks at the U.S. Treasury Market Conference in New York. Well, if his that's at 9:20 a.m. You were saying 2 o'clock. What's that? Is he speaking a second time? No, I don't have that. I remember seeing something about Powell's speaking. How's today? Oh, it's at 2 UK time. Yeah. Well, if his remarks are pre-recorded, then I'm kind of a little bit skeptical about how big of a surprise or anything that he could have in his remarks, to be honest with you. But I could be wrong. The market is kind of like paying attention to it and looking forward to it, so we definitely do need to be careful about that one. But I'm looking on here. Okay, so we got like a bunch of Fed speakers, pending home sales change, Kansas City Fed, 4-week bills, 7-year bill. Oh, okay. So let's come in and do our thing. Weekly jobless claims, slightly hot, a GDP hot, then we got Fed speakers, Powell speaking, 4-week bills, 7-year auction. Okay, so what are we doing on yield right now? 3 point, a little shy of 3.8. I think that should be okay for the auction. So the auction may start to become a more dominant part of the flows. So, oh, I got something else to talk about with you guys. Now that we're like 30 minutes in. Somebody yesterday recommended, hey, what if you made a paid server? I think they were thinking, well, hey, you know, if we need to find some ways for you to make more money in case you have trouble finding a new day job, you know, this could be something that would help. Because it is like the Discord has like 12,000 members or something like that. So there's no way you'd be able to get all those people to carry over. But if you had 12,000 subscribers, then that would solve all your problems right there, right? So I looked into it, and you know, I actually think that there could be a really good case here for a paid Discord server. So I've always been super adamantly against, you know, paying for a trading room, because trading rooms are always like, you know, we're going to, like, a lot of it is like you follow them, and if you get in that trading room, that's supposed to make you profitable, and like it doesn't work like that, and those trading rooms get really expensive too, you know, and so I haven't been a big fan of those. I've seen some other creators, like FT and I'm sorry, names are escaping me at the moment, but, you know, kind of creating like subscription service chat room sort of setups like that for $50-$20 a month, and I'm kind of like a little bit disappointed. But the reason why I think that a paid Discord could make sense for us is because on the free Discord you get so much spam, and I'm seeing a lot of people that, you know, I want to be in the chat and I find the chat really nice and useful, but I'm getting so much spam from it that it kind of ruins it for me. And so I've had some people that are like, you know, I just can't do it with getting all of these stupid private messages all the time. Well, if you had to pay to get into the Discord, then that would kind of solve that problem, wouldn't it? Because the robots could still spam you, but they would have to pay us money first. So I went and I looked at it, and I made a new Discord server. So it's still kind of okay. So I'm still kind of doing some testing, but Alligator was able to see everything, and I got, you know, he's the one that helped me start the Discord server in the first place. I got him over here. And I think a few other people joined because I put the link in the Discord. But so I'm not all in on this quite yet. But I will give you guys the links. How about that? Actually, where's this link? There's a special link. What is it? Yeah, this page right here. Check it out. And I used ChatGPT to make some pictures for me. Yeah, that not bad? That's not bad. I don't know. This picture right here I think is kind of funny. So here you go. I'll give you guys the links for this. So I wanted to make it $1, but the cheapest that they'll let you go for Discord is $3. So for $3 a month, you can get into the paid Discord. And I have created it, and I will be posting stuff in there, but it's still a little bit of a work in progress. Okay. But tell me what you think about that. I don't want to, you know, be like, oh, you made a trading room, you lied, sort of a thing. But this is the intention here is to free us from the robots, and we'll keep the old Discord going. We'll keep the old Discord going. That'll still be the free one. I'm sure that will probably still be the one linked in, you know, like the futures trading subreddit and places like that. And then I will just, like in the announcements channel or something like that, say, hey, we're making a private paid server that's only $3 a month so that you don't get pestered by robots. Yeah. Now, I'm also thinking of making some other content. So right now, well, I don't know. We'll see how things go. I've been sending out a lot of resumes. Most of them do get like automatically like, oh, we're not going to look at it. But I think that people are looking at them. But, you know, when you combine it with like the competition and all of these sorts of things. But I have gotten at least one came back and they wanted me to do a little coding exercise. So like I am getting stuff to do. So that will cut into the time a little bit, but that's just probably like a one afternoon sort of a thing, right? I've been spending the time. Most of the morning I'm sending out resumes and, you know, checking my email. I'm afraid that like I'll miss one. So I check the email to check back and see if it's rejecting it. So I can kind of get stats of like, okay, how many send the resume, how many of those go out, and then of those that I get talked to, how many interviews and, you know, how many offers and that sort of a thing. Then in the afternoon, well, yesterday I did the Discord, so that took a little bit of time. And I've been working on scripts. So I got 2 scripts that are basically ready to go. I think that I will do another pass on both of them. You know, like practice speaking it and see if there's anything about that I don't like and shift it. So there's 2 videos that I can put together. And then I think that I've got ideas for 2 other ones. Hey, you know what? Maybe I should look at that. Hold on. Ah, yeah, that's right. One is the video about the chair. One is a video about index funds, Then the two other ideas that I wanted to take after that was one, about learning, developing intuition. And the other one was misconceptions, where I want to address a couple of common misconceptions, but the primary one of which being, that the level 2 is not useful because orders will pull, and explaining to people what you're actually looking for there. So I got 4 videos to come through, and once I got 4 videos, or maybe more than that. You know what? Do I have over here? Ninja Trader's basics video. Macro video is still one that we kind of need to do and is a hard one to do. How much do you need to day trade? How many trades should you take? Dealing with builds. Best financial news. We could maybe do that one now. Want a better video on Almgren, Chris, health. Yeah, I got a couple of videos. But once I'm like a few weeks ahead, because I kind of got a plan. Like, okay, if all I'm doing is the stream and putting resumes out, I should be able to put out a video every week. So, if I get a couple of weeks ahead, then I can go and work on other content. What would I work on other content? And that's where I think that I want to start developing some content that I think would eventually be used for like starting my own investment advising business, right? But for investment advising, that is like giving information that is tailored to you, right? And I'm thinking, well, there is some stuff that I can do that would be general advice to the public and kind of like projections about what we see going on in the economy, like a top-down approach. I can say, okay, this is where we expect interest rates to go. Here's where we expect the U.S. economy to go and where we expect other economies to go. And then based on that, what are some sectors that we would be interested in investing in? And maybe even going as far as to try and select of those sectors, like what's best and worst of breed in those sectors and that sort of a thing. And that would be a bunch of information that you could then compile and use to make your own investing decisions in investing with a portfolio, right? So I think that would be a lot of work, but I could put something together, and then I could. The Discord has ways you can have like a shop, so you can have that thing there on the shop, and people. So first you'd have to pay the $3 to be on the Discord, and then you could buy it for like $50 or $100. That research packet, right? Another thing is I think I want to have on Sunday as an incentive to get you guys into the Discord, a like the week ahead kind of synopsis. That's something that I think we could do right now. So those are some of my ideas that I'm working on right now. I don't know if you have thoughts about that, but I have the link right there in chat if you want to check out the Discord. You can pop in, and there should have a little welcome page. Oh yeah, there you go. See, you're joined. So thank you guys very much. So there's the we can, you can see how many people join. So I appreciate it. If you join, say something in the welcome channel. Reply to your welcome or whatever. Actually, can you? I think that anybody can talk in this channel, right? Well, there might just try and leave a message or a chat or whatever, because it might might take a little bit to get all of their permissions and everything right. So for you first people that are joined, this is kind of like the test group first before we really push it out to everybody. Make sure that we got like everything right on it, you know? Okay, so we are coming back to the 16 and balancing back. Actually, wow. Once again, it kind of seems like you have to know this type of situation where it's relevant, but when you get like a big piece of news, they tend to come back to that line eventually. They tend to come back to that line and like balance back out. And it's usually the bottom line. It's usually like if we sold off hard, it almost always comes back to that first line, not the second one. Where you take the reversal, I don't know, but I think you take the profit. And I think who was it? Was it Octavius that was, taking that as the take profit zone? It happens so often now. I really don't think it's a coincidence. I do kind of feel that it's like, okay, everybody that wants to trade off of that news, all of the orders that are trading off of that news, they all come in. And then when that flow is done, the market makers will not really hold offers at all and let it come back up until it gets to their break-even point. And then when it gets to their break-even point, they will kind of let it sit there and slowly rebalance. Kind of seems. Well, what else do we got here to talk about today? I feel like there was something else we wanted to cover. No, I don't think so. Oh, and one thing I might want to do. Another thing I would be interested to know from you guys that joined the Discord server, and it's $3. Does it charge you that right away? And like, when does it reset? Does it reset it a month from when you first originally did it? Or does it, like, after that, it resets to the beginning of the month or something like that? Oh, actually, maybe there's an article. Oh, yeah, there's some questions, so we gotta ask here. What are things I'm not allowed to monetize? Intellectual property, sexually explicit content, online dating, political activity, charity, marketing, and advertising, third parties. Oh, and more here. Impersonation. Exploitation of tragedy, hardship, or turmoil. Where the support stated purpose of monetization is to support a charitable endeavor. Good grief. Something on the internet that doesn't let you monetize porn, unheard of, right? Well, so what did it say specifically? Sexually explicit content, whether hosted on Discord or linked from other services. Content may not contain nudity, explicit sexual acts, or content created for the purpose of sexual gratification or arousal. Oh, well, okay, so that last part makes it pretty darned broad. So if you are an e-girl, you cannot use Discord for your monetization. Although probably what you would do is you would have an OnlyFans and you would just have a free Discord server for it, right? I think. Or you could be an OnlyFans. Well, I don't know. They said even if it's linked. But if you just like, if you're an e-girl and you have a paid server, but you don't have any of that content on there and you don't link anybody to it in that Discord, maybe you could get away. I don't know. Exceptions for non-sexual nudity may be made for content that is educational, artistic, or newsworthy. It's interesting that you can't do facilitation, solicitation of, or participation in online dating. Because I could see a Discord server, a paid Discord server for online dating working really... Oh my gosh, that's totally what you would do. Is like make a Discord server for LDS singles. Oh, that's such a good idea. That's I would do really well with that. Maybe I can find another place to do it. Promotion of pharmaceutical goods. Promotion of endangering activities. Facilitation of gambling. Okay, cool. We're not doing gambling, so that's good. Distribute, manufacturing, sell, or promotion of lethal weapons. Drugs, alcohol, and tobacco. Deceptive, misleading, or manipulative financial practices, such as multi-level marketing schemes, financial scams, fraudulent behavior, facilitation of financial asset transfers or securities ownership. Okay, so that's interesting. So if it was like, this is how you buy the thing, they probably have that in there for crypto. It's like, you come in here and then you can buy the crypto. I getcha. But not financial stuff. But some things have it said like you can't do financial stuff. So like TikTok kind of had stuff about that for a while. Malware and software downloads. Software that is deceptive. That reminds me, you guys seen this thing from Marcus Brownlee where he has some application that like changes your wallpaper and it has like a curated list of wallpapers and it's like $12 a month? Like what? Isn't that what Microsoft Windows 11 does on its own? And you charge people $12 for it? What the heck? I'm not sure what he's thinking. But people seem to be upset about it. Was all over Reddit yesterday. Inappropriate or distasteful. Oh, well, that's a little bit broad. Content meant to shock or scare. Profanity or vulgarity. Okay. Okay, so I think we're good on all of those things. Oh, 90-10 split. Okay. To receive your first payout, the server must have learned at least $100. So we need 30 people to join before it can even pay out. And then you'll need to earn $25 to be eligible for subsequent payments. Server subscriptions give you the ability to create subscription tiers for paying members, offering the premium experiences with unlockable servers and channels. How do you create them? I know how to do that. How do you request a refund? Apparently there is a way to do that. There are free trials. I don't think that I have. Do I have a free trial enabled? I don't think that I do. Let's see here. Tiers. Yeah. Enable free tier for this tier, but we don't have it. About to get thwacked in a few hours from the... Oh, the hurricane hasn't hit you yet? Okay. When you talked about the hurricane thing and everything, I was kind of like, why would he just all of a sudden like know that? But then when I was watching the news, and I have a couple of YouTube channels that give me weather information, and yeah, looks like it's going to be a pretty big one, huh? And it's going to hit Florida like straight on too, so. How can I gift a free month? This is not possible with free trials, but you can manually give one or more people access to the channels associated with a server subscription tier through channel settings. Okay. I'm in Central Florida, so it's just gonna nail the Big Bend though. 15 to 20 foot surge. Oof. I don't even remember why we were looking at this. Well, anyways. Mm-hmm. By the way, if you're in the new Discord, send a message, because I haven't seen anybody else send a message yet. So I just want to make sure I have the permissions right. And if you can't, then then tell me here in chat or send me a message or something. The Treasury is kind of doing a head and shoulder pattern here. A mini head and shoulder pattern. I'm kind of wondering if they're going to go back and test the lows at some point. Maybe not test the lows, but come back to this 13.5 area. But they seem to be pretty happy there at 17. Okay, so just got from Financial Juice, Feds Williams does not comment on the economy or monetary policy in his remarks. Let's come over to Zero Hedge and see if they have an article now about the GDP. Well, the top story is China goes all out. In first rate cut speech, Fed Chair Powell doesn't comment on monetary policy. Okay. So we already got that stuff. So the Powell event is a nothing burger. Hurricane Helen becomes nightmare storm with unsurvivable storm surge ahead of Florida landfall. Oh, I see what you mean by you're just gonna kind of get tagged by it in Central Florida because it's gonna hit straight for the Panhandle. Jeez. So is it a category 5 now? No, they expect it to intensify to a category 3 before it makes landfall. Okay. It's going to be wet AF for us, though, I bet. So it is going to have an economic impact, probably, huh? Are we, like, it's usually you don't get hurricanes after October, though, right? Usually October is when we get the first snow here in Utah. Dude, I'm so pissed. I have everything set up to go snowboarding. I don't have a snowboard. You know, like if I'm unable, if I'm really unable to get a new job, I could just become a ski bum, right? Except for that I'm not able to buy the board now. At least not without doing something ill-advised. I guess I could sell some stuff. I've been looking at things that I got over here, and I'm like, well, don't really use the tractor controller that often. I could probably sell that. I don't know if I would get that much from it, though. Could sell the nice chair. I'm sure you can just freelance coding projects to get by until you have a gig. Yeah, that's a good point, too. Where's my notes? You guys keep giving me too many good ideas. Did I close it? Wait, what? It's got to be hiding back here. There we go. Okay. Not that one. This one. Yeah. I'm just writing down all of the things I need to look into today. I think one of the problems with that, though, is it would have to be from people here watching the stream. They want me to write something, right? Though there was a massive 11K. I did miss that. At 18, huh? Oh, yeah, that was the top. Gotcha. Thank you for pointing that out. Lots of things to try before you have the garage sale. Yeah. Well, like the first thing is that I have savings to dip into, right? So, and not like IRA 401k savings, just like, you know, some stocks and stuff that I've had for some time. So that's probably enough to keep me going at least for a month. I need to, I haven't gone through and done all of the math to figure out like how much I'm short, but probably do that today. Probably need to do that today because I might need to, I don't think that there's anything due like, why am I clicking that? I don't think that there's anything due the beginning. I guess the 30th is Monday. So maybe I don't even have to worry about it then. But then I have to worry about it. But my kind of thinking is like, I just got to do the mortgage and like what? Internet, cell phone, power, water, like utilities. Then there's a lot of other stuff that probably should be canceled. Tons of stuff on Upwork. Wait, I'm not familiar with that. What is that? What's the difference between Upwork and Fiverr? What's shittier, Upwork x Fiverr in 2024? Oh, well, let's read a little bit about it, huh? I think the quality of jobs on Upwork is higher, says Morgan K. I had Fiverr last active in 2018. 5-star reviews made like 2K. Only 5 clients hardly after that. No one came in for like 2 years. I also went full-time, started my agency part-time, which turned out getting serious clientele off all platforms. In my whole life, I never signed up to Upwork. Heck, I don't even know how it works. I need some reviews from you guys. What's worse right now? Okay. 80% of my work is through Upwork. I support freelance full-time. Okay. Fiverr has always been crappier and likely always will be. On Fiverr, the average client spends less than $300 a year. The average Upwork client spends just a hair under 5K. Oh. Probably the way I do it is $75 an hour, and I'd give you an estimate for how much time it would take, and that's what you would pay me. So I've done this before, and there would be like a contract. So I would tell you just how much, and then it would include things like follow-up work afterwards. Like if you have a problem with the software, you get so many changes and patches and so forth like that. Like, so I tell you what, I probably shouldn't concern myself with it, but the thing that when I think about Ninja Traders making Ninja Trader stuff is especially like, you want me to make a Ninja Trader strategy, right? Well, like if I do exactly what you want it to do, probably it's not going to be profitable, right? And you really want to pay for that and all of those sorts of things. And so a lot of the time it's like people will ask me to make things and I'm kind of like, I don't really know if that's really worth making. But when I really should just be like, well, if somebody wants me to make it, then I guess I'll make it, you know? Like, whip up a quick landing page for that service. Well, what I'm going to do is in here on Upwork. look into freelance coding projects on Upwork. I mean, I'm still relatively hopeful that it shouldn't take me more than a month to find a new job. But I've heard horror stories from people. Like I've never had to deal with that before, because every time that I've been out of work, I was able to find something. So like I can think, man. So going way back, first started with where was the first place I went? Oh, that's right. I worked for Fairchild Semiconductor, and I got downsized from there because semiconductors get hit first, and that was in 2008, right? And then I worked for a box printing company, and their guy, they needed the work and everything, but their guy didn't really know how to manage or like to give me anything, and so I just like never really accomplished anything there. So that didn't last for very long. And then I worked for a book company, and that one was kind of rough because like their ecosystem sucked. And like I spent more time like fiddling around with dependency hell more than anything in that job. And then they merged with something else and my position got eliminated. And that was the when I had a problem, because up until that point, it was like the next week I had a job for all of those. But with that one, at that point, I already had a job lined up with Goldman, but it didn't start for a couple of months. And so I worked hard and everything, but I just was not able to find something that was like, reasonable for like to do it for 2 months or whatever until I worked for Goldman. So we just talked with our parents and the church and everything and worked out, bridging that gap, and it was fine. And I ended up getting super heavy into the StarCraft 2 beta. So I basically played StarCraft 2 beta, kind of like my job. and then we did Goldman. When I got let go from Goldman, they had like this workshop that I was supposed to go to. So like I didn't do anything until I went to the workshop. So that was like a few weeks. Then I did the workshop, put everything out, literally had a new job like the next day. Right. And then after that one, I switched over to this one because I got headhunted essentially. So, I've never had a hard time finding another job, even when the economy was kind of rough, like in 2008, right? But, there was that one period that was like the depths of the 2008 crisis where, like there were jobs, but it was tighter. And so I've always kind of like been scared of it. And now I'm in that situation. It's super scary. What are you saying? That's good, but no reason not to get a jump. Well, all I was saying about with looking into freelance coding projects is I need to understand how the Upwork system works. So you're saying like making a landing page. So did I make a landing page on my website for that? And how would I integrate it with Upwork? Can we sponsor a project, like a trading strategy that you believe would have an edge and some of us sponsor it? That's a good question. Like, okay, so I think that there'd be some problems with that, because the projects that I would want to do are really complicated things. And I don't know how I would be able to do those things in a way that you would be able to get the benefit from it, like, or let me put it another way. If I was going to do something like that, why wouldn't I just write the indicator up and put it into the indicator suite and tell you guys, you know, if you want it, buy the indicator suite. And if it's really that powerful, then we increase the cost of the thing. Increase the cost of the indicator package. Wouldn't, you know, those that are already in, they're already in, but then new people, maybe they have to pay 200 instead of 100 or something like that. Square root loss system. I don't know if an indicator for that one really makes sense though. Fortunately, because the whole thing is you have to know the size of the order that's going to come through, right? Like I can make something that you can come in and you can say, okay, if we sold 10,000 contracts, how far are we likely to move? But to do that, you kind of like need a database of like past moves, and I don't know if that one wouldn't make sense. Yep, now I have time to do things like that. Yeah, but then I kind of come back and I'm kind of like, well, probably the most valuable thing that I can do, at least first off here, is to put a couple more videos out, right? I haven't been putting a lot of videos on the channel. I get a couple of videos that can bring more activity to the channel, and you know, we are to the point now with the channel where, you know, like the channel could just all of a sudden get super big for some reason, you know? It's possible. So start promoting combines. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I tell you what, I really do have the best audience, right? You guys are here every day, super involved. You're giving me lots of really good ideas. Like honestly, when I sit and I think about it, it's kind of like, well, the problem is not the lack of ideas. The problem is like, what's the best thing for me to focus on right now? That's has the best chance of being able to generate a livable income from content creation. Right, because that's really what it comes down to. Is this is an opportunity to just build the channel up, and maybe you can do that. Maybe I can, just because that would be the best thing. That would be the best thing, is if I could just live off of this and make content for this, because that's what I really want to do. But you know, so it kind of goes like, okay, new applications, make some videos. Well, I don't know where the freelancing comes in. I don't know where the freelancing comes in. So if I come back out here, oh yeah. See, so like one of the ideas is make a trading platform. That's a huge project. That's like, it would take me years to accomplish that. So you guys would have to like put together like $3 million for it, right? So if you know anybody that wants to invest $3 million in starting a futures trading platform, let me know. So like if I come over to here to like my to-do list on speculator Sept stuff, so there's this LOB frame GitHub project. That's something that I really want to put together. Actually, that might be one that I could just include in the indicator suite. And if I did put it in there, probably we would need to make the indicator suite more expensive, because that would be really valuable and crazy thing to put in. Okay, so what the LOB frame is basically like, they come in and they're looking at the DOM, and they're looking at significant changes in the DOM. And every time that there's a significant change in the DOM, it takes that and it like makes a word out of it. It like makes a word out of it. That word that represents the bid 2 prices away decreased by 500, something like that, right? And then that word becomes a token that you place into a machine learning large language model. So then it basically becomes ChatGPT for the DOM. And according to this study, there are some or according to a study, there was a study with Jean-Philippe Pouchot and some others that basically showed that there was some very short-term, highly predictive signals that they could get out of that. And then somebody went and they made a thing called the LOB frame, and it's a GitHub project that basically does all of that for you. So that all you have to do is, make the features and train the algorithm. So it does all that work for you. So I think what you would do is, what I would have to do is make something that like does all of that stuff and then communicates to the NinjaTrader so it would have to be like a separate little program that you run on the side that then sends NinjaTrader the information about what it thinks is going to happen next, essentially. So it would be a little difficult, but it could probably do that. So that's like one of the things that's at the top of my list. Some of these are just okay. So another one is the better zigzag. So the better zigzag is like, the zigzag indicator already exists, but I want to make one that is kind of more better set up for you to be able to backtest. So then what we could do, if we had the better zigzag, is you could create each zig and zag and turn that into a word and pass that into a large language model and see if the large language model can come up with some sort of a system to know when something is likely to happen. Yada, yada, yada. I'm going to bet that one doesn't work, but like if I did that one and then that didn't work, I feel like that would be like the final nail in the coffin of price action. That would like for once and for all show that like price action strategies don't work. See, the NinjaTrader Sprock connection is probably something that I would have to do for this LOB frame thing to work, I think. Because I don't think that I could do all of the machine learning stuff within NinjaTrader. There's a couple of little things with the website that I can do, but those sound less effective. Backtesting cache data, that's something that we need to do. I could probably work all day just on our indicators, couldn't I? I've seen an LOB. Oh, I think that's something different. Why? I don't know why they call it LOB frame. But okay, so we have the project frames. Now we need to finance it. But that's kind of like, okay, so like how would we do that? Okay, so one way that we could do that is we could do a like a GoFundMe, or not a GoFundMe, a Kickstarter. We could make a Kickstarter project, right? We could say, this is how many hours I need to put into it. This is the amount of money, have different tiers. Although I don't know what to do with the different tiers, because what would be the different options that I would give you? Maybe there's no difference between the different tiers other than like getting an extra thank you or something like that. I don't know. Access to the beta or something like that. I kind of so like there's two ways that I can take that too, because one way that I can take that one is like, how much work would that be? Like, I think the LOB frame would probably be something that I would need to spend like at least 2 weeks on, if not more. Right? So like I could say, okay, like 2 weeks, that's probably worth like 4K to me. So let's round it and say like we would need to raise $5,000 for me to do it. But then I also think about like, what could it really actually be worth? Like if I was going to make it and give it to somebody else, and then they were going to take it and market it and sell it and things like that, I think that I would need to get at least 10,000, if not upwards of 50,000. Because like something like that, you could probably take something like that and sell it for like $500 to $1,000 a pop, you know? Can it work on? I wish if I had a way to hook into Jigsaw Man, I would like be making all sorts of stuff. You know, it's unfortunate that they basically have a development group in Malaysia, you know, because I could work for them, and you know, there's a couple of things that I would love to do in Jigsaw right now. Maybe I'll reach out to Peter and just see. Like if he's willing to do a contract work. Like, I'll write it. You pay me 10K, I'll write it. I don't think he'd go for that. I don't think that would be enough. I think that would be too much for him. Go work for. Are they hiring at Bookmap? Don't use the project. I wish you could do custom indicators in Jigsaw though. My understanding is that at some point we will have them, but it's probably a long ways off. I had seen Ninja Trader was hiring, but I would basically have to live in Chicago, so we'll be in a retirement home before that. Well, if you know, it seems to me like they made some pretty fundamental like infrastructure or architecture, let's say. I think that they made some pretty fundamental architecture changes with this beta, which is why it's like a beta. So if they were from here going to next milestone should be custom chart indicators, it would probably be at least 6 months to a year or more for them to do it, I think. My guess. Chicago is great. Yeah. Well, so like that's another problem is I don't know if this is I've been headhunted over the years several times for like doing SRE for like hedge funds and stuff like that, and like nothing ever comes of it. But like I was talking to somebody about it yesterday, and they're like, okay, we'll send it in and yada yada yada. I have to move to New York, and I'm like, well, this one it would be in New York. She's like, I don't know if we can do that. Well, maybe we can't. I don't know. Jigsaw is fine the way it is. Yeah, well, you know, that is a good point. That I don't think that they really need custom indicators, because part of the advantage of Jigsaw is it is very stable. So, you know, once you start putting that stuff in, you're kind of compromising one of the greatest things about it, and all to create, you know, an ecosystem of indicators that I don't think would be as good as like the Ninja Trader ecosystem, because the Jigsaw charts are just much more limited in general anyways, right? But there are a couple of like key tools, like being able to chart spreads and being able to chart the dollar index in particular, that they just need to add those things. And I really wish that I could just write them and add them. There's a bunch of funds down in Miami now. Yeah, that's another one, is maybe move to Miami. like the crazy thing is I am finding so many site reliability engineer jobs on LinkedIn that are remote. So there's a really good chance that I will just find a remote SRE job. But if I wanted to somehow go back into the financial industry, I would probably need to switch over to... Right. I guess if I probably couldn't get like the full, like, I still kind of want to make that stuff for them, so I don't know what we can work out. Like, so the problem that I'm seeing is like, okay, well, if they do it, you know, with if his development team does it, then they're in like what, Malaysia or the Philippines or something like that.
Block by.
You know, they're going to be using Malaysian wages, right? And the wage that I get is going to be a little higher because you know, like I'm basing it off of what I'd make if I was doing SRE work. So it would be hard to compete on price with that. But maybe he might still say, well, I'd be willing to pay you X much for it, and I would do it and take less simply because I want it to be in the application, right? Thank you, Uzi. Pending home sales in 30 seconds. And we're back into the lower end of the range here. So let's minimize that for a moment. I can find Bookmap on LinkedIn. Jobs, there are no jobs right now. Darn. Probably the best one for me would be ATAS. Because they're a C# platform dealing with order flow, right? Nope, nothing for... Oh wait, that's a different ATAS. Okay, here's the news. Well, big icebergs right there. Pending home sales change month over month, spot 6 versus an expected 1%, so slightly lighter than expected. I think the Sierra charts guys are like in... I think that they're maybe a distributed team, but that some of them are in the Intermountain West, not necessarily in Utah. I don't know, man. So first of all, C++ is not my forte. I think that if I was doing C++ development, I would probably have to take a huge pay cut. Okay, they got through the iceberg at 11K still. Jeez. Yeah, it's a pretty big iceberg. That might be because there is an auction today in the 7-year, right? See, if it's like in C#, I'm an expert at C#, man. I know things about C# that it's kind of like, man, that really sucks that I have to know that. That I run into a situation where that was relevant, sort of a thing with C#. But C++, man, has all sorts of things like that. And, you know, like an experienced C++ developer is a very, very valuable thing. And I've done a little bit of C++ professionally, but not really. I'm not really a experienced C++ developer. This is the same thing with, like, I'd be really interested to go into Rust or Go. I could totally do jobs where it is Go, but like maybe it's more SRE sort of thing, because that's where we would use Go. But I kind of like those kinds of languages just because, like, the sort of things that you end up doing with them are kind of more like deep programming, I guess you could say. Whereas in C#, especially with ASP.NET, the stuff that you're building is completely different and kind of weird and not as interesting. But you know what? With all of those ideas, because I think that those could be some good ideas. I don't, you know, I want to make these videos, so I should do those first, right? The opportunity to make a few more videos is probably the best opportunity I got for me first, and then. Two-year is breaking down. Oh, yeah, you're right. New lows in the 2-year. And we're at new lows in the 5-year. We're not quite there yet in the 10-year, though. And we're getting some flattening in the yield curve as well. I don't know if that has anything to do with the new home sales as much as it is just like that piece of news is past us now. So where do we go from here? I am a little bit concerned by where we're at, though. Like, again, we come back to our profile here. What I would think would happen is we kind of come down here and kind of go sideways for the rest of the session, and then maybe overnight tomorrow we bounce back up out of here. But if we're to make another push lower, let's do it blue. If we were to do another push lower here, you know, then we would be breaking this line. That could get really ugly, right? Could start to get some weekly momentum players into it. So we still got a ways to go before we're to that point, but it definitely needs to be on our radar, right? And we did slip, you know, like what, 3 ticks from where that iceberg was over here. So. Neil Chris, I have just uploaded to archive my new paper, Position Building in Competition with Real-World Constraints, which is a sequel to the paper Optimal Position Building Strategies in Competition. The question both papers tackle is, what is the optimal way to scale into a stock position when in competition with other traders? The difficulty as compared with non-competitive trading is that the market impact is now caused by the aggregate of all parties' tradings. To solve this problem requires conceiving of trading as a non-cooperative game. Non-cooperative in the sense that there's no coordination or communication between traders, and then proving that there are exact trading analogs to the game theoric concepts of best response and equilibrium strategies. I'm going to just keep reading here. The paper continues where the prior one left off and introduces a set of fast computational methods that make it possible to easily compute best response and equilibrium strategies as before, but now with constraints like limits on position size and short selling, as well as more complicated ones such as defining how quickly the strategy must progress and complete. The new techniques involve translating the methods of optimal execution from the calculus of variations to those of quadratic programming and show that the latter are up to sufficiently small approximation error equivalent to the former. With this paper not only shows how to calculate best response and equilibrium strategies with constraints, but also provides an algorithm for finding equilibrium. It mimics the dynamic process of traders adjusting to one another's strategies, shaving off advantage until equilibrium is reached. The resulting equilibrium path, well, I don't like to say the equilibrium path, but okay, it sheds light on the nature of equilibrium strategies. For example, one can see that optimal trading shares some of the paradoxical qualities of a Nash equilibrium. Most notably, Prisoner's Dilemma. As an example, when two traders trade the same size in competition, their equilibrium strategies are mutually defensive and they both pay more in total cost than if they were able to coordinate the trade. There's a companion GitHub with a Python package. The package was I like it. I'll give you a like. Maybe you can check that out later. Shouldn't have opened up LinkedIn. Now I'm sucked in. Using Hurst exponent to time the market. Doubt. Okay, the Hurst exponent is a statistical measure used to evaluate the long-term memory and or autocorrelation of a time series, indicating whether a system exhibits trending behavior, mean reverting characteristics, or randomness. The paper proposed using the Hurst exponent to time the market. It calculated the moving Hurst exponents for rolling windows of 100 and 150 days. The timing signals are subsequently generated using these calculations. The study suggests that the moving Hurst indicator is effective for forecasting and managing volatility in Indian equity markets. Moving Hurst is more effective at capturing profitable trading opportunities than moving averages. Moving Hurst is a less lagging indicator than a moving average, making it more responsive to market changes. Moving Hurst incorporates principles from chaos theory and practical analysis, offering a unique perspective for market analysis. The research was conducted in the Indian stock market, however, it can be readily applied to any stock market. The moving Hurst indicator and its role in the Indian stock market. I wonder why he's posting that, because doesn't look like that's his. I hate it when it inserts it in there and it doesn't. Yeah, okay. That seems like something that I could use for my swing strategies. So I've done things with Hurst and NinjaTrader before. I don't know if it'd be different from their moving Hurst, but we could try it on short time frames and we could try it on longer time frames and see how it works. There you go. CFM is looking for a quant specialist. Too bad it's in France. I'm maybe willing to move, but I'm pretty sure I can't move to France. Pretty sure I can't move to France. I think I probably could do that though. There you go, lead data engineer, New York. Pleased to announce a new paper, Credibility Transformer, which is a joint work. In this paper, we discuss a novel training mechanism for transformers that alternates between making predictions using portfolio averages or using all covariate information, i.e., a credibility-based training mechanism. By dedicating a specific parameter set to learn the portfolio average, it turns out that the transformer itself performs a credibility calculation to make predictions. Not only does this relate the transformer model class to classical actual principles, but it also improves out the sample prediction performance. Okay. I don't know if I completely understand that, but that kind of made, I could kind of see how that would be interesting. Stochastic finance. Another thing with videos that I'm working on is some interviews. That's another thing. So. New research highlights critical flaws in predictions, suggesting that we cannot scale solar and wind energy rapidly enough to achieve our climate objectives. And Doing Farmer reposted that. Okay. Well, the 10 years still hasn't broken down to new lows yet, but it's like right on the edge. Oh, so I never came in here on Upwork. Do you just like go and find jobs? Development and IT. There you go. Search for Ninja Trader. Maybe there's a place for hiring Ninja Trader, because I seem to like vaguely remember something like that. Chatbot developer, huh? I'll just search Ninja Trader under talent. Machine learning engineer / Ninja Trader 8 developer. $40 an hour. Wow. Ninja Trader custom programming. $200 an hour. So there are people that are doing that. Let's view this guy. I don't know this guy. John W. Cary, North Carolina. That sounds kind of vaguely familiar. Project catalog. You'll get Ninja Trader strategy indicator or add-on. You get script conversion. Starting from $300 for a script conversion. Man, I would almost do that for free. Kind of depends on the indicator, though. $2,000 for 30 days. I don't know if he's making that much from it, as much as he's been doing it for a long time. Okay, I think I'm getting some Secretary Yellen comments here on CNBC. So far, in market's not reacting to it, but should maybe be on our toes here. I haven't seen anything about the GDP release on Zero Hedge. There's initial jobless claims, but not GDP. Oh, I see. I can search Upwork for... Okay. Ninja script to help optimize and debug an existing strategy. Create code for stop, a trail stop for strategy. I can do that. Less than 30 hours a week. That's the 1 month expert. Proposals. 5 to 10.
Block cell.
That sounds to me like maybe a 3-hour job. Man, see, the issue that I'm seeing with a lot of these things is that, like, to make up all my income from this stuff, I'd have to be doing tons of, like, I'd have to be doing, like, dozens of jobs a month like this to make my income up. It's not practical. So it's kind of like I have to assume, like the YouTube could do it. If the YouTube took off, I could probably start making enough from the YouTube. Otherwise, I'm better off spending my time applying to other jobs and just working on the channel as I can, Not okay, so there's a new Lowe's. Now they're going. They're coming right up on that support line. So for you guys in the new Discord, I still haven't seen anybody send a message to the general channel. So are you guys able to send a message to the general channel? It kind of looks like that 09.5 will go too, but they're not just going to pull out of the way. I want to put like some stop orders in here. Octavius is out. They're taking the profit just be. Oh, well, hold on. They pulling it 09.5. Okay. Okay. That's the highest since September 4th, huh? Yeah, I think you're going to be getting some momentum in here. So it did break. So 09.5 was the previous low, right? So that 2-year, oh no, it's not the 2-year, the 5-year. 2-year just keeps dragging it down. Okay. Lots of volatility in ES. They're above 5,800 though. I mean, like they were up so high today, I would expect them to give a lot of that back. Oh, wow. Oh, I'm surprised that didn't trigger block trade alerts right there, because that was like 9,000 contracts just flooded all through all at once and took us to new low. Okay. So a little bit of flickery there, so I'll take one contract off there. Negative 55k delta. Dude, the change over this, yeah, from the equity open is, you're correct. Wow. It's really curious to me that GDP coming in a 10th higher than analyst expectations is the thing that does it to get this thing to finally break down, right? I think there must have been some people that were banking on that number getting revised a lot more than it did. Okay, well, so I read at least that temporary shift back up pretty well, but I didn't get my fills. So that might be the end and this goes badly for me. Let's see. Give it 30 minutes and see how it goes. It looks like the 5-year is bouncing pretty hard there. The spread between the 5 and the 30 was flattening out considerably, and so this pullback here is pretty aggressive steepening. So I don't like that. Thus all of the sudden went from, hey, maybe we could get some continuation here to this kind of looks like a good spot for a hero trade. I think that if there's a hero trade that maybe it comes back to like value area out low. But I think that given the circumstances, there's a very good chance that they continue to sell throughout the session. But man, the change in cumulative delta in the 10 years already really bad. And another issue is you're having all of this happen on a day when there's a 7-year auction. So like, do we have a really bad 7-year auction? Because that's kind of what's happened on these. It'd be interesting because I had a video about that yesterday on YouTube Shorts, right? I wasn't expecting it to become relevant quite so quickly. Nope, only cumulative. I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know. The way that this is all kind of played out is a little curious because, you know, it wasn't the GDP. Like the GDP was bad, but then they stabilized. It looked okay. We waited for the housing number, and then after the housing number, it didn't really do anything, and then it started falling apart. I'm kind of wondering though if that last little bit though was instead of somebody, you know, large meta order continuing to sell through there into new liquidity, if that was just stop runs, because it has flipped back around pretty hard. In other words, I'm very quickly losing confidence in this trade. The sim trade. Yeah, I don't know, guys. The more that I'm thinking about it, the more that I'm like, you know, I could do like contract work for NinjaTrader and everything, but I think that I would make more. I think I would do better putting that time and effort into my own indicator suites and my own YouTube channel rather than doing contract work. So there's 10.5, there's the value area low. Or let's say the line between value area low. Oh, okay, so Alligator is able to speak in the new Discord. Hmm. Well, like, part of me wants to keep this on forever and ever, but like my bet here is that it's not going to get back to that 07.5 before the end of the stream. So I should probably just give up on it, but I guess there's no harm in just leaving that because I don't expect us to move too far from this area. Like if we came all the way back up to 13.5, then I would be like, whoa, hold up. What's going on here? Hmm. Oh, they finally got over the 11, did they? Or did the no, they got over the 11. I was gonna say, did the value area shift? I don't think it actually did. Remains to be seen if we'll get back up to the 13 or not, though. Kind of thinking that what might happen is it'll come back to my 09 and then still going. I think it's going to get to that 13. I think it's going to get there. Yeah. Puke. Well, I mean, I kind of knew that trade was a little bit of a gamble because, like, just because we broke the line doesn't mean that, like, it's really going to continue through it. That's kind of like that line ends up being a place where there is going to be a lot of liquidity. If they get through it, then, like, the bottom just falls out. But in that situation, they did not really get through that liquidity. It was like, as soon as they came in there was like that tick up, and I immediately, I knew it, and I started putting orders in there, and it just didn't get filled. And I should have bailed on the trade much faster than I did. Should have just, like, when it came back to break even, scrapped it. But I guess I've been holding out because I've been doing that all week, really, haven't I?
Block buy.
Wow, they really swept through their block buy even. 5K at 13.5. Jeez. Well, there's been a lot of really big orders have popped out today, hasn't there? But coming all the way back to 14 is kind of startling to me, actually. The spread's kind of even back out, or rather flattened back out after steepening considerably initially. So, I'm not entirely sure what to make of that, to be honest with you. I don't think I've ever seen a shift quite that fast. Dun, 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 like in the yield curve. I'm not sure what to make of that. Let's see here. Does it say when people join the server or just any time that they're online? Hold on. What's with that?
Block by.
No, I think that that's just... He has peaked at 15, dumped 7 points in 60 seconds. Oh, it did drop. Is somebody experiencing stress, like bank stress there? When the yields were increasing? I wonder. I don't think that anybody 14. Anyways, I'm looking at Discord. I see some people have joined the Discord, but I don't think that they actually subscribed to it yet because
Block by.
they don't have that role. So when you do that, though, then can you actually see anything? How does that work? See, everyone shouldn't be able to see messages or channels. Maybe if we come to server subscriptions, preview this server as everyone. Join, welcome. Yeah, you should be able to come in here and just not see. Should just like not see anything, and then if you're a supporter, then you should see everything. So I think that somebody has to actually subscribe to it first before we can. Then once they get that, then I know that that it works correctly and I can promote it. Oh, yeah, it's time for us to go. Well, yeah, I wish I had bailed on that thing. I was still saying, like, I would like to see how far back they come back, but who knows? Let's come in. What should we put for titles today? Apal, good game. By the way, Apal, thanks for, I think it was you at least that left some comments on some YouTube shorts, so that's good. I'll put and make another one this morning. So for today's title, yields spike, China stimulus, and now let's just say yields spike after GDP. Commenting is hard. Oh, it's not hard. Just ask like really dumb questions. I thought that the two that you did were really good, especially since like we've got an auction today, and I'm kind of like, what's the auction going to be like today? So like, I kind of ends up being a good thing to talk about. Okay, so just let me come back in here. Here we go. Just want to remind you, we are working on a private Discord to get away from the bots. It's only $3 a month. That's as cheap as I can make it. But that should prevent the robots from coming in and like messaging everybody on the members list. So we're going to keep the old Discord, but we're going to try making this new Discord $3 a month. And I'll be posting some like exclusive content in there to encourage people to sign up. So there's the promo page for that. Give that a look. You know, you join the server and leave a message in the general channel for us so we can see that we've got the permissions and everything set up correctly. And that's the best way to get a hold of me when we're not streaming. So I got some stuff to do, some more applications to fill out, and a project to start on. I guess I should probably do that first, and then I will get back to my script writing. So I will see you guys tomorrow. In the meantime, stay excellent, team.